The war had lasted 10 years. 10 long years of blood, fire, and death across the galaxy. The humans had fought 3 major alien races at once and somehow kept winning battles they should have lost. Admiral Sarah Chen stood in the command center of Earth's defense headquarters, looking at the holographic display showing star maps. Red dots marked human colonies. Blue dots showed alien territory. The front lines had barely moved in months, but the cost in lives grew every day. "Admiral, we have a visitor," said Lieutenant Torres, walking up to her with a worried expression. Chen turned around. "What kind of visitor?" "The diplomatic kind. Ambassador Thane Korvek from the Corvani Empire. He says he comes with a peace offer." Chen raised an eyebrow. The Corvani Empire was the most militaristic of the 3 alien races fighting humanity. They were tall, gray-skinned beings who valued honor and strength above all else. Their warriors were fierce and their weapons powerful. If Korvek was here with a peace offer, something big had changed. "Send him to conference room 7, full security detail." 20 minutes later, Chen sat across from Ambassador Korvek. The alien was over 7 feet tall with sharp features and cold yellow eyes. His dark uniform was covered in military decorations. 2 human Marines stood guard at the door. "Admiral Chen," Korvek said in his deep voice, "I bring greetings from the Galactic Council." "The same council that declared war on humanity 10 years ago?" Chen asked, leaning back in her chair. Korvek's mouth twitched slightly. "The same council that now wishes to make peace." Chen waited. In her experience, when aliens wanted to talk, it was best to let them do the talking first. "The war has gone on too long," Korvek continued. "Both sides have lost too much. The Corvani Empire, the Zephyrian Collective, and the Nexari Hive have decided to end this conflict." "I'm listening." Korvek placed a small device on the table. It projected a holographic document covered in alien text. The terms are generous. Complete ceasefire, recognition of all current human territory, and most importantly, an invitation for humanity to join the Galactic Council as full members. Chen studied the document, though she couldn't read the alien writing. "What's the catch?" "No catch. Only one requirement. The treaty must be signed in person at Harmony Point Station. It is an ancient galactic tradition. All parties must attend the ceremony unarmed as a show of good faith." Chen's instincts immediately started screaming warnings. After 10 years of war, the aliens suddenly wanted peace? With generous terms? And humans had to come unarmed to sign it? "How many representatives from each side?" she asked. "No more than 50 per faction. The ceremony will be held in 3 weeks. I'll need time to discuss this with my superiors." Korvek stood up. "Of course. But know this, Admiral. This offer will not remain open forever. The galaxy grows tired of this war." After Korvek left, Chen immediately called an emergency meeting with Earth's military leaders. Within hours, the top generals and admirals were gathered in the secure briefing room. "It's a trap," said General Martinez, the head of ground forces. "Has to be." "Obviously," agreed Admiral Petrov from the Space Navy. "But why spring it now?" Chen activated the room's main display, showing recent intelligence reports. "Look at these fleet movements near Harmony Point. Our deep space sensors detected at least 200 alien warships in the area over the past month." 200? General Park whistled. "That's enough to destroy our entire delegation and any escort ships we send. The question is, do we call their bluff?" Chen asked. "We can't ignore a peace offer," said Defense Minister Williams. "Even if it is fake. The public won't understand if we don't at least try." Admiral Petrov leaned forward. "What if we go but we're ready for their trap?" "How can we be ready if we have to go unarmed?" Martinez asked. Chen smiled coldly. "That depends on how we define unarmed." The room fell silent as they considered her words. "They said we can't bring weapons," she continued. "They didn't say we can't bring everything else." Over the next hour they worked out a plan. It was dangerous, maybe suicidal, but it had one advantage: the aliens would never expect it. "Who leads the delegation?" Williams asked. "Captain Marcus Rodriguez," Chen said without hesitation. "He's our best at thinking on his feet." Everyone nodded. Rodriguez was famous throughout the human fleet for his ability to win impossible battles. His nickname was Bulldog because once he got his teeth into a fight, he never let go. 2 weeks later, Captain Rodriguez stood on the bridge of the diplomatic ship Terran Pride, watching Harmony Point Station grow larger on the view screen. The station was massive, built by a dozen different alien races over centuries. It was supposed to be neutral territory where different species could meet safely. "Captain, long-range sensors are picking up multiple contacts," reported Lieutenant Chen, the sensor operator. "How many?" "Over 200, sir. Hiding in the asteroid field and on the far side of the station." Rodriguez nodded calmly. "Just as expected. Signal the delegation. It's time to get ready." In the ship's main cargo bay, 50 humans prepared for what might be their last mission. They wore formal diplomatic uniforms made from special fabric that looked elegant, but could harden into armor when needed. Each carried a ceremonial walking stick made from earth oak, though the core contained monofilament wire strong enough to cut through steel. Dr. Sarah Kim, the delegation's scientist, checked her collection of cultural gifts one more time. To alien sensors, they looked like art pieces and scientific samples. In reality, they were components that could be assembled into weapons or explosives. "Remember," Rodriguez addressed his team, "we're diplomats first. But if this goes bad, we show them why humans have survived every extinction event our planet ever threw at us." The docking process took 30 minutes. Harmony Point security was thorough but polite. The alien scanners detected no conventional weapons, just as expected. As they walked through the station's corridors, Rodriguez noticed the subtle signs of preparation for violence. Too many security cameras, guard posts at every intersection. The aliens were definitely planning something. The main ceremony hall was enormous, built to accommodate dozens of different alien species. The ceiling rose over 100 feet high, supported by massive columns carved from single pieces of crystal. Representatives from the 3 alien factions were already seated. The Zephyrians looked like living crystals, their bodies refracting light in beautiful patterns. The Nexari appeared as insect-like beings with multiple arms and large compound eyes. The Corvani sat in rigid military formation, their gray faces showing no emotion. Rodriguez led his delegation to their designated seats. As they sat down, he noticed more details that confirmed his suspicions. Hidden weapon ports in the walls, force field generators disguised as decorative elements, emergency blast doors that could seal the hall in seconds. Ambassador Korvac stood up to begin the ceremony. "Today marks a new chapter in galactic history. After years of conflict, we gather to sign a treaty of lasting peace." Rodriguez listened with half his attention while mentally cataloging everything in the hall that could be used as a weapon. The ceremonial chalices on the altar contained acid-based alien wine. The decorative banners were made from tough synthetic fibers. Even the flowers in the arrangements had thorns sharp enough to puncture skin. "The terms of this treaty," Korvac continued, "recognize the sovereignty of all parties and establish protocols for peaceful coexistence." As the alien ambassador spoke about peace and cooperation, Rodriguez caught the eye of Dr. Kim. She gave him the slightest nod. Her sensors had detected energy weapons charging throughout the station. The trap was about to spring. But Rodriguez smiled slightly. The aliens thought they were clever, luring humans into an enclosed space where they couldn't use their usual tactics. They had no idea what they were about to face. The ceremony continued for another hour. Ambassador Korvac spoke about the benefits of peace while other alien representatives added their own speeches. Rodriguez noticed how they kept looking at the human delegation with barely hidden satisfaction, like predators watching trapped prey. During a break in the proceedings, Dr. Kim quietly moved closer to Rodriguez. "Captain, I'm reading massive energy buildups throughout the station. They're powering up weapon systems. How long until they're ready?" Rodriguez whispered back. "Maybe 20 minutes. The Nexari hive mind technology takes time to coordinate, but once it's online, they'll have complete control of the station." Rodriguez nodded and casually walked over to where Sergeant Major Thompson sat. Thompson was his best soldier, a veteran who had survived battles that would have broken most people. "Pass the word quietly," Rodriguez murmured. "Phase 1 in 15 minutes. Thompson's expression didn't change, but Rodriguez saw the message register. Within moments, Thompson was having quiet conversations with other members of the delegation. To any observer, it looked like normal social interaction during a diplomatic function. Meanwhile, back on the Terran Pride, Chief Engineer Lisa Okafor was putting the final touches on their surprise. The ship's diplomatic quarters had been completely rebuilt over the past 2 weeks. What looked like elegant living spaces were actually sophisticated manufacturing facilities. "Status report," she said to her team. "Raw material processors are online. reported technician Santos. We can convert those cultural gifts into components within minutes. Good. What about the fabrication units? Hidden behind the decorative wall panels. Once we remove the camouflage, we can start producing weapons immediately. Okafor smiled grimly. The aliens had demanded that humans come unarmed, but they never said anything about not being able to make weapons once they arrived. Back in the ceremony hall, the final speeches were beginning. Rodriguez could see the tension building among the alien representatives. Whatever they were planning would happen soon. He looked around at his team one more time. Each person had been carefully chosen not just for their diplomatic skills, but for their ability to fight when fighting became necessary. Every human in the room was a veteran of the war, someone who had faced impossible odds and survived. Dr. Kim caught his eye and tapped her wrist. The gesture looked innocent, but Rodriguez knew what it meant. The alien weapons were almost ready. Ambassador Korvac returned to the podium for the final time. And now we come to the moment of truth. The signing of the treaty that will bring peace to our galaxy. He gestured toward an ornate table in the center of the hall. On it sat the treaty documents and ceremonial signing implements from each species. If the human delegation would approach, Korvac said, with what might have been a smile. Rodriguez stood up slowly. This was it. The moment when the trap would spring. He walked toward the signing table with calm confidence, as if he had no idea what was about to happen. Behind him, his delegation followed. To alien eyes, they looked like typical human diplomats, soft, unprepared for violence, easy targets. The aliens had made a fundamental mistake. They thought that because humans used weapons in battle, humans were helpless without them. They didn't understand that for humans, everything could be a weapon. As Rodriguez reached the table, Korvac raised his hand. It looked like a gesture of ceremony, but Rodriguez knew it was really a signal. Energy barriers suddenly slammed down around the human delegation. Hidden weapon turrets emerged from the walls and ceiling. Blast doors sealed every exit. The trap was complete. Surprise, Korvac said, dropping all pretense of diplomacy. Did you really think we would let humanity continue its rampage through our galaxy? The other alien representatives stood up, no longer bothering to hide their hostility. The crystalline Zephyrians pulsed with angry red light. The Nexari drones buzzed with threatening sounds. The Corvani officers drew ceremonial blades that were very real and very sharp. This treaty was never about peace, Korvac continued. It was about gathering human leadership in one place where we could eliminate the threat you represent. Rodriguez looked around at the weapons pointed at his team, then back at Korvac. Slowly, he began to remove his white ceremonial gloves. Ambassador, he said calmly, you seem to have misunderstood something fundamental about humans. And what is that? Korvac sneered. Rodriguez dropped his gloves to the floor. We didn't bring weapons to this peace treaty. We are the weapons. The signal was simple but clear. Every human in the delegation immediately went into action. Thompson grabbed his ceremonial walking stick and twisted the handle. The monofilament wire inside extended, creating a weapon that could cut through almost anything. He spun toward the nearest Corvani guard, the wire slicing through the alien's energy rifle like it was made of paper. Dr. Kim opened her collection of cultural gifts. Her fingers flew over components that had seemed decorative moments before. Within seconds, she had assembled a device that looked like a flower, but functioned like a grenade. Other humans were moving with the same deadly efficiency. Ceremonial sashes became garrotes. Diplomatic pins turned into throwing weapons. The special fabric of their uniforms hardened into protective armor as soon as violence began. The aliens had expected humans to panic, to surrender when faced with overwhelming force. Instead, they watched in horror as 50 diplomats transformed into 50 warriors in the space of heartbeats. Sergeant Major Thompson rolled behind a pillar as energy blasts scorched the air where he had been standing. His ceremonial sword was actually a piece of advanced human technology that could cut through alien armor like butter. Phase 2. Rodriguez shouted over the sound of weapons fire. On the Terran Pride, Engineer Okafor heard the signal through the communication link. You heard the captain? Remove the camouflage and start production. Wall panels slid away to reveal the hidden manufacturing equipment. The cultural gifts that Dr. Kim had cataloged were fed into the processors, which immediately began breaking them down into raw materials. What's our production time for a full weapons loadout? Okafor asked. 12 minutes for basic firearms, Santos replied. 18 for the heavy weapons. Do it. And signal our escort ships. Tell them it's time to drop the act. In space around Harmony Point, 3 ships that had been pretending to be simple diplomatic escorts suddenly came alive. Hidden weapon arrays deployed from their hulls. Defensive systems that had been carefully concealed powered up. The human ships were outnumbered 50-1, but they had advantages the aliens didn't know about. For one thing, human ships were designed by people who expected to be outnumbered in every battle. For another, human crews had been training for exactly this situation for weeks. Captain Sarah Reeves commanded the escort destroyer Defiant. When the signal came, she felt a fierce joy surge through her. All hands, this is the captain, she announced over the ship's intercom. The gloves are off. Show these aliens why humanity rules the battlefield. The Defiant's crew roared with approval. They had been pretending to be helpless for hours while alien warships surrounded them. Now they could finally fight back. Back in the ceremony hall, the battle was becoming a nightmare for the alien forces. Humans moved through the combat zone like deadly ghosts, using the environment itself as a weapon. Rodriguez had found that the ceremonial chalices contained acid strong enough to eat through metal. He threw the contents at a group of Nexari drones, watching their chitinous armor dissolve. Dr. Kim's improvised explosives were taking out weapon turrets with surgical precision. Each blast was carefully calculated to destroy alien equipment without bringing down the entire hall. The aliens were learning a terrible lesson about human nature. When backed into a corner, humans didn't surrender. They became more dangerous. The energy barriers that had trapped the humans flickered and died as Dr. Kim's improvised electromagnetic pulse took out their generators. Rodriguez used the moment of confusion to leap onto the signing table, grabbing one of the ceremonial treaty documents. You know what I find interesting about this treaty? He called out over the weapon fire, holding up the alien text. It's written on synthetic paper that burns really well. He touched the document to one of the overloaded energy projectors. The paper caught fire instantly, but instead of burning normally, it released a cloud of thick, choking smoke. The special ink used for formal galactic documents contained compounds that created a perfect smokescreen. Can't see your targets now, can you? Thompson shouted as he and 2 other humans used the cover to advance on a group of Corvani soldiers. The aliens were discovering that their technological advantages meant nothing when they couldn't see what they were shooting at. Their sensors were designed to track ships in space, not individual humans moving through smoke and chaos. Ambassador Korvek backed away from the fighting, his yellow eyes wide with disbelief. This is impossible. You came here unarmed? Rodriguez emerged from the smoke directly in front of him, holding a weapon that looked like it had been assembled from random pieces of ceremony decorations. Which it had been. We came here without guns, Rodriguez said, pointing the improvised weapon at Korvek's chest. That's not the same thing as unarmed. The device in his hands was built from the metal base of a ceremonial torch, the focusing crystal from a Zephyrian light sculpture, and the power cell from a Nexari translation device. It functioned as a crude but effective energy weapon. How? Korvek whispered. Because we're human, Rodriguez replied. We've been making weapons out of whatever's handy since we were living in caves. Did you really think a little thing like a peace treaty would stop us? On the other side of the hall, Dr. Kim was having a fascinating conversation with a group of Zephyrian representatives while simultaneously building what appeared to be a small sculpture. From their own crystalline decorations, your crystal technology is really quite impressive, she said conversationally, twisting 2 pieces together. The harmonic frequencies you use for communication can be adjusted to create some interesting effects. She activated her creation. Instead of the gentle chimes that normally came from Zephyrian crystals, a harsh screech filled the air. The sound was precisely tuned to cause pain to Zephyrian nervous systems. The crystal beings writhed in agony, their beautiful light patterns flickering as their internal harmonics were disrupted. Physics works the same for everyone, Kim explained cheerfully, adjusting the frequency to make the sound even worse. Your communication crystals work both ways. Meanwhile, Sergeant Major Thompson had cornered a group of Nexari drones near one of the hall's massive support pillars. The insect-like aliens chittered threats at him in their clicking language. Sorry, don't speak bug, Thompson said. He had rewired one of the ceremonial lighting fixtures to create a powerful electromagnetic pulse generator. But I know you rely on electronic coordination for your hive mind. He triggered the device. The electromagnetic pulse fried the Nexari's cybernetic implants, leaving them confused and unable to coordinate their attacks. Without their hive mind connection, they were just individual insects facing a trained human soldier. The battle quickly turned into a rout. The aliens had planned for a quick execution of helpless diplomats. They weren't prepared for a running battle against humans who treated every disadvantage as just another tactical challenge. But the real surprise was yet to come. In space around Harmony Point, the alien fleet was finally moving in for the kill. Over 200 warships emerged from hiding, surrounding the 3 human escort vessels. Fleet Commander Zaketh of the Corvani surveyed the human ships with satisfaction. Finally, we end this human plague once and for all. All ships opened fire. The alien fleet unleashed enough firepower to destroy a small moon. Energy beams and missiles converged on the human ships from every direction. The aliens expected to see 3 ships disappear in brilliant explosions. Instead, they watched in amazement as the human vessels shrugged off the attack. What? How are they still functional? Zaketh demanded. His sensor officer checked the readings twice before answering. Sir, those aren't diplomatic ships. They're warships disguised as diplomatic vessels. On board the Defiant, Captain Reeves smiled as her ship's true armor held against the alien barrage. The Defiant looked like a simple escort vessel, but underneath the fake hull plating was one of humanity's most advanced destroyers. Their first mistake was thinking we'd actually send diplomats to a peace treaty without proper backup, she told her crew. Fire all weapons. Let's show them what human engineering can do. The Defiant's hidden weapon arrays deployed and began returning fire. Each shot was precisely aimed, targeting the weak points that human intelligence had identified in alien ship designs. The other 2 escort vessels revealed themselves to be equally dangerous. The merchant ship Peaceful Trader was actually the cruiser Vengeance in disguise. The science vessel Explorer was really the battleship Retribution. 3 human warships against 200 alien vessels should have been hopeless odds. But the humans had advantages beyond just surprise. Human ships were designed by engineers who assumed they would always be outnumbered. Every system had multiple backups. Every weapon had been tested against captured alien technology. Every tactic had been practiced until it was instinctive. More importantly, human crews had something the aliens lacked: experience fighting hopeless battles and winning anyway. Enemy formation is breaking up, reported the Defiant's tactical officer. They're trying to surround us. Let them, Reeves ordered. It just gives us more targets to choose from. The human ships moved with deadly coordination, their formation designed to maximize their defensive capabilities while concentrating their firepower. They had practiced this exact scenario in simulators hundreds of times. Back on Harmony Point, Rodriguez received an update from his ship through his hidden communicator. Captain, space battle is engaged. Terran Pride reports weapons production is complete. Rodriguez nodded and activated his own communication device. All human personnel, Phase 3 is go. Time to leave this party. The humans began fighting their way toward the hall's exit, moving with the same coordinated precision as their ships in space. They had inflicted heavy casualties on the alien forces while taking minimal losses themselves. But Ambassador Korvac wasn't finished. As the humans reached the exit, reinforcements arrived. Hundreds of alien soldiers pouring into the hall from multiple entrances. You cannot escape, Korvac called out. This station has 20,000 alien troops. Even if you fight like demons, you are still outnumbered 400 to 1. Rodriguez looked at the mass of alien soldiers surrounding his 50 people, then at Korvac. Slowly he smiled. You know what your biggest mistake was, Ambassador? What? You assumed we came here to escape. Rodriguez pulled out a device that looked like a decorative flower from his uniform jacket. It was actually a powerful transmitter. Terran Pride, this is Rodriguez. Execute order, Hammer. On board the human diplomatic vessel, Engineer Okafor received the signal she had been waiting for. All teams, initiate final phase. The Terran Pride had been docked with Harmony Point for hours, connected to the station's main computer network through standard diplomatic data links. What the aliens didn't know was that human computer specialists had been using that time to infiltrate every system on the station. We have complete control of life support, artificial gravity, and internal security, reported the computer specialist. Ready to proceed. Do it, Okafor ordered. Throughout Harmony Point, alien soldiers suddenly found themselves fighting in the dark as the lights went out. Emergency systems failed. Gravity fluctuated wildly. Air circulation stopped, making it difficult to breathe, but the humans seemed unaffected. Their special uniforms included basic life support systems and low-light vision enhancement. What was chaos for the aliens was just another day at the office for humans. The station shook as the human ships in space pressed their attack. What had started as an ambush was rapidly becoming a disaster for the alien fleet. Inside Harmony Point, the battle was turning into a nightmare for the alien forces. "Emergency lighting only," Rodriguez called out to his team as the main power systems failed throughout the station. Everyone switched to low-light vision. The humans activated settings on their uniforms that their alien hosts didn't know existed. Special fibers woven into the fabric enhanced their natural vision, letting them see clearly in conditions that left the aliens stumbling in near darkness. Dr. Kim had found the station's main computer terminal and was working with frightening efficiency. Her fingers flew over the alien interface as she rewrote security protocols and took control of automated systems. "Captain, I have access to the station's manufacturing facilities," she reported. "The aliens have been mass-producing weapons here for months. I'm redirecting the production lines now." "What are you making?" Rodriguez asked, using his improvised energy weapon to keep a group of Corvani soldiers pinned behind an overturned table. "Surprises," Kim replied with a grin that would have terrified the aliens if they could have seen it. Throughout the station, automated manufacturing systems that had been producing alien weapons suddenly switched to human designs. The same factories that had been making energy rifles for the Corvani military began creating human-style firearms and explosives. But more importantly, Kim was accessing the station's internal transport systems. Harmony Point was so large that it had its own network of automated cargo pods to move supplies around quickly. "Weapons delivery in 5 minutes," she announced. "Every human team will receive a full combat loadout." Sergeant Major Thompson was holding a critical intersection with 3 other humans against dozens of alien soldiers. They had built barricades from ceremony furniture and were using captured alien weapons alongside their improvised devices. "This reminds me of the Battle of Kepler Station," Thompson said, calmly reloading an alien energy rifle he had taken from a defeated Zephyrian warrior. Outnumbered 50-1, trapped in an enclosed space fighting 3 different alien species at once. "How did that one end?" asked Corporal Martinez, who was using a ceremonial banner pole as a spear. "We won," Thompson replied, then fired 3 shots that dropped a charging Nexari drone. "We always win." The aliens were learning hard lessons about human psychology. Normal species became less effective when outnumbered and trapped. Humans seemed to become more dangerous. The worse their situation got, the more creative and vicious their fighting became. Ambassador Korvek had retreated to the station's command center with his remaining guards. He was trying to coordinate the alien forces, but nothing was working as planned. "Status report," he demanded from the Nexari hive mind coordinator. "Our forces are scattered throughout the station," the insect-like alien replied. "The humans have divided into small teams that are moving constantly. Every time we gather enough troops to attack one team, they disappear and attack somewhere else." "What about the Zephyrians?" the crystalline being pulsed with frustrated colors. "The humans are using our own harmonic frequencies against us. They have learned to disrupt our communication crystals. Many of our warriors are suffering from harmonic feedback injuries." Korvek turned to his own species' military commander. "Corvani forces?" "The humans fight without honor," the officer replied stiffly. "They use tricks and deception instead of meeting us in honest battle. Our traditional tactics are ineffective against their chaotic approach." "How many humans are there?" Korvek asked in desperation. "Still 50, sir, but they fight like 500. In space, the battle was going equally badly for the alien fleet. Captain Reeves and her 2 companion ships were tearing through the alien formation like wolves among sheep. "Enemy casualties?" she asked her tactical officer. 43 alien ships destroyed or disabled, Captain. We've taken damage to our outer hull, but all primary systems remain functional." The aliens had expected their numerical advantage to overwhelm the humans quickly. Instead, they were discovering that human ship design philosophy was fundamentally different from their own. Alien ships were built for specific roles and performed those roles efficiently. Human ships were built to survive everything the universe could throw at them and keep fighting. When alien shields failed, the ships were helpless. When human shields failed, the ships had backup shields. When those failed, they had armor. When the armor was breached, they had internal bulkheads to contain the damage. When systems were destroyed, they had redundant systems. "Sir, the human ships are requesting surrender from our remaining vessels," reported the alien fleet's communication officer. Fleet Commander Zakath stared at his tactical display in disbelief. He had started the battle with over 200 ships. Now he had fewer than 60 still capable of fighting, and the 3 human vessels looked like they could keep battling for hours more. "How is this possible?" he whispered. His tactical officer had been studying human combat records throughout the battle. "Sir, I believe we fundamentally misunderstood human military doctrine. We assumed their success in previous battles was due to luck or superior numbers. We were wrong." "Explain." "Humans don't just prepare for the battles they expect to fight, sir. They prepare for the battles they hope they'll never have to fight. Every human ship is designed to face impossible odds and win anyway." Back on Harmony Point, Rodriguez received the news about the space battle through his communication link. The alien fleet was broken. Their trap had become their own prison, and human reinforcements would arrive within hours, but he wasn't finished yet. "Kim, what's the status on those manufacturing facilities?" he called out as he led his team through a corridor filled with disabled alien security systems. "I've got them producing equipment for our specifications now," she replied. "But Captain, I found something else interesting in the station's database." "What?" "This wasn't just a trap for our delegation. The aliens have been planning to use Harmony Point as a staging ground for a massive assault on Earth. They've got enough weapons and supplies stored here to outfit an invasion fleet." Rodriguez paused in his advance toward the station's command center. "How much equipment are we talking about?" "Enough to arm 1,000,000 soldiers and supply 1,000 ships, sir." This was going to be their final push to eliminate humanity. A cold smile spread across Rodriguez's face. "Not anymore." "Kim, can you access the station's self-destruct systems?" "Yes, sir, but we're going to do something else." "Can you transfer control of all those weapons and supplies to human forces?" Kim's eyes lit up with understanding. "Yes, sir. It will take about an hour to complete the data transfer and change all the access codes." "Do it, and send a message to Admiral Chen on Earth. Tell her that instead of just surviving an alien trap, we've captured their entire invasion stockpile." The aliens had planned to eliminate human leadership and capture Earth's defenses. Instead, they had handed humanity the largest collection of advanced alien military technology in galactic history. As Rodriguez's team fought their way toward the command center, they encountered increasingly desperate resistance. The aliens were beginning to realize that their perfect trap had become a perfect disaster. Sergeant Major Thompson kicked in the door to a storage room and found something that made him laugh out loud. "Captain, you need to see this," he called out. Rodriguez looked inside and saw rows of alien combat armor and weapons neatly stored and labeled. "What am I looking at?" "Sir, this is the equipment for the alien special forces that were supposed to hunt down any humans who escaped the ceremony. They stored it right here on the station." "How considerate of them," Rodriguez replied. "Gear up, everyone! Let's finish this fight properly equipped." 20 minutes later, 50 humans in modified alien combat armor were advancing on the station's command center with alien weapons that had been quickly adapted to human specifications, the aliens defending. The command center had never faced humans equipped with their own advanced technology. The battle was over in minutes. Ambassador Korvek found himself staring down the barrel of his own species' most advanced energy rifle, held by a human who looked perfectly comfortable using it. "Surrender," Rodriguez said simply. Korvek looked around at his defeated forces, then at the humans who had turned his perfect trap into their perfect victory. "How?" he asked one more time. "Because we're human," Rodriguez replied. "We specialize in turning bad situations into good ones. It's what we do." The command center of Harmony Point fell silent except for the hum of damaged equipment and the occasional groan of stressed metal. Ambassador Korvek sat in his command chair, surrounded by human soldiers wearing modified alien combat gear. Captain Rodriguez stood before the main tactical display, watching the final moments of the space battle. The few remaining alien ships were surrendering one by one, their commanders finally accepting that continuing to fight was suicide. "Final casualty report," Rodriguez said to his team. Dr. Kim consulted her portable computer. 7 humans wounded, none seriously. Alien casualties are approximately 4,000 dead or wounded out of 20,000 stationed here. Property damage? Significant. We'll need to repair about 60% of the station's systems. On the positive side, we now control the largest stockpile of alien military technology in the galaxy. Rodriguez nodded and turned to Ambassador Korvek. I believe you wanted to discuss peace terms? Korvek's yellow eyes were filled with something Rodriguez had never seen in them before. Respect mixed with fear. You turned our trap into your victory, Korvek said quietly. How did you know? We didn't know for certain, Rodriguez admitted. But we prepared for the possibility. That's what humans do. We plan for the worst and hope for the best. Your species is more dangerous than we realized. No, Rodriguez corrected. Your species never understood what made us dangerous in the first place. You thought our strength came from our weapons or our ships. You were wrong. He gestured toward his team of humans who were efficiently securing alien equipment and tending to wounded enemies with equal professionalism. Our strength comes from our ability to adapt, to take whatever situation we find ourselves in and find a way to win. You gave us a trap, so we turned it into an opportunity. Sergeant Major Thompson approached with a report. Captain, we've secured all critical areas of the station. Engineering teams from the Terran Pride are beginning repairs to essential systems. What about our new guests? Rodriguez asked, indicating the alien prisoners. Medical teams are treating the wounded. The others are being held in their own detention facilities. They're cooperating fully. Rodriguez was not surprised. Humans had a reputation for treating prisoners well, which often made enemies more willing to surrender instead of fighting to the death. A communication alert sounded from the main display. Rodriguez activated it and Admiral Chen's face appeared on the screen. Captain Rodriguez, please report, she said. Admiral, the alien trap has been neutralized. Harmony Point Station is under human control. We have captured their entire invasion stockpile and taken approximately 16,000 prisoners. Chen's eyebrows rose. 16,000? How many humans did you start with? 50, ma'am. There was a long pause before Chen spoke again. Casualties? 7 wounded, all expected to make full recoveries. Outstanding work, Captain. What's the status of their fleet? Captain Reeves can give you the details, but most of their ships have been destroyed or surrendered. The alien military threat to human space has been effectively eliminated, Chen smiled. Then I suppose we should discuss new peace terms. Real ones this time. Rodriguez gestured toward Ambassador Korvek. The ambassador is right here, Admiral. Perhaps he would like to participate in the conversation. Korvek stood up slowly, his posture showing defeat but also a strange kind of relief. Admiral Chen, I formally request terms for the surrender of the Galactic Council forces. I'm listening, Chen replied. Over the next hour, new terms were negotiated. But this time humanity held all the advantages. The aliens had lost their main fleet, their forward staging base, and their stored equipment for the planned invasion of Earth. More importantly, they had learned that humans were far more dangerous than they had ever imagined. The Galactic Council will recognize human territorial claims, Korvek said, reading from the new treaty document. All human colonies and outposts will be acknowledged as sovereign territory. Continue, Chen said. The Council will provide reparations for war damages in the form of technology transfers and trade agreements. Humanity will be granted full membership in the Galactic Council with voting rights equal to any other species. And, Rodriguez prompted. Korvek hesitated before reading the final clause. And the Council formally acknowledges that humanity has proven its right to exist and expand in galactic space through combat victory. It was an ancient galactic law, rarely invoked in modern times. Species that could defeat their enemies in battle had the right to claim their territory and resources. Humans had just earned that right in the most decisive way possible. Dr. Kim had been analyzing the captured alien data during the negotiations. She approached Rodriguez with her findings. Captain, you need to see this, she said, showing him her portable screen. The aliens weren't just planning to invade Earth. They were planning to eliminate humanity entirely. Rodriguez looked at the data. It showed detailed plans for hunting down every human colony, destroying every human ship, and wiping out the species completely. Show this to Admiral Chen, he said quietly. When Chen saw the alien genocide plans, her expression hardened. Ambassador Korvek, were you aware of these orders? Korvac looked at the data and his shoulders sagged. Yes, the Council voted unanimously to eliminate humanity as a threat to galactic peace. I see. Then I think our peace terms need to be adjusted. The final treaty was much harsher than the original negotiations. The aliens would not only recognize human territorial claims and provide reparations, but they would also submit to human oversight of their military activities for the next 50 years. This is to ensure that nothing like this happens again, Chen explained. Humanity will monitor alien military buildups and have the right to intervene if we detect preparations for genocide against any species. It was an extraordinary reversal. The aliens had started the war to contain human expansion. Now they found themselves contained by human power. As the formal treaty signing concluded, Rodriguez walked over to where Ambassador Korvac stood looking out a viewport at the wreckage of the alien fleet. You know, Rodriguez said conversationally, if you had actually wanted peace, we would have been happy to negotiate. Humans prefer talking to fighting despite what you might think. Then why are you so good at violence? Korvac asked. Because we've had to be. Our homeworld tried to kill us for millions of years with ice ages, volcanic eruptions, asteroid impacts, and every other natural disaster you can imagine. We survived by becoming adaptable. Rodriguez looked out at the stars beyond the battle debris. We developed weapons and war because our planet was dangerous and our neighbors were often hostile. But we also developed diplomacy, art, music, and literature. We're not a warrior species, Ambassador. We're a survivor species. There's a difference. What is the difference? Warriors seek out fights. Survivors do whatever it takes to protect their families and their future. Today, that meant fighting. Tomorrow, it might mean building something beautiful together. Korvac was quiet for a long moment. What happens now? Now we clean up this mess, repair what can be repaired, and try to build a better galaxy for everyone. Humans, Corvani, Zephyrians, Nexari, all of us. Rodriguez turned to leave, then paused. Oh, and Ambassador? Next time someone offers you a peace treaty, you might want to actually read it instead of planning to stab them in the back. 3 hours later, Rodriguez stood on the bridge of the Terran Pride as it prepared to depart Harmony Point. The station was now under human control, serving as a symbol of humanity's new position in galactic politics. Captain, called Lieutenant Chen from the communication station, we're receiving messages from human colonies throughout the sector. They've heard about our victory. What are they saying? They're celebrating, sir, and they're asking when we're coming home. Rodriguez smiled, thinking about Earth and the families waiting for the war to end. Tell them we're on our way. The war is over, and humanity has won not just a victory but a future. As the ship jumped to hyperspace, carrying news of humanity's triumph back to Earth, Rodriguez reflected on the day's events. The aliens had tried to trap humanity in a cage of their own making. Instead, they had discovered that humans didn't break when caged. They just got more creative about breaking out, and once they were free, they tended to redecorate the cage to their own specifications.